Alright, this is what Xander's nightly or daily trach care looks like. A new change of ties, a new foam, and then cleaning around his neck, and then his stoma site. All these, well, majority of it comes in the care tray. Other than that, we have stuff set up in his little bin with extra things, so we don't have to go to the cubbies to grab stuff. And then his ointments if he need it, the powder, what's on here, that helps keep his neck dry and not get irritated as much. So we change this every day. So I'm going to show you guys a single person trach change, and within this you will see the ties being done as well. First step, I'm taking off the trach cap and putting an egg shimmy on him. It's just easier for him that way. And next I took off the foam, and then on the side I am putting some sterile water on a Q-tip and then wiping his stoma site, which is the hole opening within his neck. I wipe below and then on top of his neck. And then for me personally, it's easier to take off the whole trach tie rather than just one side. So that's what I'm doing now. And then after I take this off, I'll wipe underneath the trach on both sides and then around his neck, then wiping the back of his neck as well. In this video, Xander was everywhere. He usually sits still pretty good doing his tie change or a trach change, but not this time. And I'm actually kind of glad, just because it shows you guys how much control you need to have in the placement of the trach, so that way it doesn't actually pop out while doing a trach tie change or the trach change. Next is the trach change. I'm actually lubing up the new trach right now, and we are going to swap this out in a little bit. I personally like to use a lot of lube, that way the insertion goes much more smoothly. And there you see it. I then put the new trach in, take out the arbitrator. The arbitrator is a rod that goes inside the trach, and it makes the insertion that much more easier. Next, I'm going to take off the egg shimmy from the old trach and put it on the new trach, so that way none of his mucus comes out while he's coughing. Now I am just wiping off the excess lube. Gonna put on a new foam and put on his ties. Some of you guys may have noticed that I'm not wearing gloves. It's actually easier for Xavier and I to not wear gloves while doing his trach change, just because the lube gets everywhere and it actually feels not as secure. It's more slippery in a way, so that's why we don't use gloves. But our hands are clean, don't worry. It was actually pretty hard for me to do this right now, just because after the trach change, I usually jump over and go on his left side and then quickly do his ties. So that's why he's moving around quite a bit. And that's how we do a trach and tie change. Stay tuned for another video on more information from me. Doing a voiceover is actually pretty hard. You have to talk super fast, and I forgot some things that I wanted to mention. For one, we have other things surrounding above his head area, like his suction and oral and nasal sucker and his suction machine. So that way, if anything were to go wrong, those are there. His backup trach, just because one time he would not let us put in his regular size, and we had to do his backup, and that ended up leading to like a big mess. He kind of got blood everywhere, and yeah, he was freaking out. We were freaking out because that's the first time that has ever happened to us. But yeah, so now we have all of those laid in front of where his Bobby sits. That helps him to keep his neck up, so that way when we do his ties and his trach change, it's open, because like the nurses and the doctors say, he has no neck. So like the only way to like really clean and get in there is if he has his neck all the way back. So doing that for him helps us help him.
Why are you so moving so much? Hold on. Almost done.